I'm your host, Neelam Brar. Today we have an exceptional guest, Laura Costello, a licensed clinical social worker with extensive experience in providing therapeutic services to older adults. Laura has been with Total Life and serving older adults as a clinical therapist. Welcome, Laura.
Oh, thank you.
We're really excited to have you today. So, Laura, can you start by telling us a bit about your background and what inspired you to become a therapist?
Well, when I was in college, I took voice and psychology. And I don't know, from a young age, I've always had people tell me it was very easy to talk with me. And I just made them feel better. And I carried that with me. And, again, I was a psychology major, and then I went back to school later in life. I didn't finish that. And I did finish psychology later in life, and then I got my master's in social work. So, what prompted me? I think I really love and am challenged by working with people that want therapy, need therapy, or maybe they don't know if they need therapy, but I can work with them and I can make things better. And I think that's always been my goal. So, a little background about me is I've worked in a lot of different capacities. One was with a court advocate program where I dealt with clients with substance abuse. That was very interesting, challenging as well. I ran groups, a men's group, a life skills group, a family group. And then from there, I went on to work doing mobile therapy, going to people's homes. And that was enlightening as well, because you really get to see how people are in their own homes and how they interact with each other, most importantly. And then I went into a school setting and worked with children and their parents and their grandparents and the whole family dynamic and the school dynamic combined. So I was the liaison between the family and the school and the teachers and the principal, and finding out what was most important for the client, the student. And that was very gratifying as well, and really made a lot of progress and helped a lot of children along the way. Then I went
That's
to work
amazing.
again with individuals and all ages. So it was more just client and myself. And again, all ages, all sorts of needs. And then I decided, well, I'm maybe want to do a little slowing down because I've been very busy the last many years. And I thought, well, let me slow down a little bit and see what's out there. And I was thrilled to find out that Total Life was out there and I could work from home. And I thought that was fantastic to actually be one on one with a client. And, the platform, the Zoom platform is so wonderful. And I have found my clients find it calming, relaxing. They're in their own homes, always, always wonderful. And I just think it really works beautifully.
Absolutely. So you've worked extensively with both adults and adolescents. How has this diverse experience influenced how you approach therapy for older adults?
Well, again, I've worked with families and grandparents. A lot of grandparents are raising their grandchildren, but in Total Life, yes, the clientele is usually 65 or older. But I have found that I love the life stories. They're more extensive than working with adolescents, because the older people are, the more story they have. And that's fascinating and interesting and really what they want to work on and what from the past haven't they gotten past and what they want for their future.
Right. And on that note, there are several series of life transitions that happened
Hmm.
as we age, starting with retirement.
Hmm.
And some of them can be incredibly challenging. Can you share a story about how cognitive behavioral therapy has helped one of your clients manage a significant transition?
Yeah, one of my clients has a lot of anxiety. His father passed away at a young age, and so he's struggling now with, looking at possibly retiring, slowing down. And I think that's it. I'm a lot of people who are retirement age or close to it, they do want to slow down, but they're not sure if if they can actually do that and what that looks like. So what we work on is, what are the fears? What are the challenges? With cognitive behavioral therapy, you're looking at how I think affects my behavior, right? So we work on what the thought process is. Are you, telling yourself negative thoughts, which may or may not be true? And through therapy, we're going to explore that and turn them, if we can, into positive thoughts, because look at all that's open. You have more time to do what maybe you've put aside for many years and you want to bring back in. So I think that's my goal with clients who are struggling to transition over to maybe a slower life or maybe not working at all, and what that looks like.
And that's great. And so, what are some of the tips and tricks that you go to when you're giving a client a path to
Mm.
thinking about those changes in their routine?
Yeah, and I love the term path because I truly believe in that. As a therapist, all I'm here to do is illuminate the path. That's all I do, just guide, and the client walks the path. But the tricks are, I look at what is the client is dealing with and having difficulty with, and then we hone in on why that's difficult. So that's one thing to do. Really, you have to look at where the client is. You have to start where the client is. And then we look at what the client wants for their future. And what I do is say, tell me about what you really liked in the past that you haven't gotten around to lately. And that's why I think that's so important. Well, I used to like art. I used to draw all the time. That was so important. Or I loved music and I just got away from it. I go with, let's look at that. Maybe we can bring that back in. And I think that's a trick because now our minds are thinking already about something that we really like and maybe is a possibility for us. And I think that's important because now I've taken negativity and created, hopefully, positivity along that route.
I love that as an exercise. Several of our older adults are also in some capacity caregiving um,
Mm-hmm.
for another. In those cases, there's stress from your everyday life plus the stress that you've taken on in managing another person's care. What are some CBT exercises that they can use to manage the stress and emotional toll of caregiving?
Yeah, absolutely. Caregiving is very, very difficult. And I have a few clients who have told me they love their parents, but they were completely depleted from caregiving. And that's a difficult place to be. And that's usually, where maybe they should seek therapy because we can talk about it. Maybe they're lonely. Caregiving is a lonely business at many times because the parent may not be, have their faculties and whatever that is. So we can talk through that. And it's okay to feel stress. It's okay to feel anxiety when we're caring for somebody else. It can be overwhelming. And I think, again, with CBT, I think the guilt is there. I shouldn't feel this way. They're my parent. I have to be a caregiver. I can't express that I'm feeling sometimes anger, sometimes resentment, sometimes, again, feeling bad about just not being able to share that with anybody. So through therapy, they can share that with a therapist, and the therapist can work through that with them and saying, hey, Total Life has a lot of great programs that you can take advantage of. You can, whenever you can, don't be afraid to ask for help. I think a lot of people don't ask for help, and that's so important to do that.
Absolutely, and help can come in many forms. So often people don't think about um, talking to a therapist about that help. From a healthier mindset perspective, what are some actionable tips our listeners can start implementing today to improve their mental health and stay engaged?
First, of course, if you're seeking therapy, seek therapy. It's a great tool, as well as getting engaged physically and what that looks like for you. Yoga is wonderful. Any kind of low impact may help. I have a lot of clients that love to swim at the Y. which is inexpensive and a great way to uh, engage with others while exercising. And that always gives you a better mindset, of course.
Absolutely. And staying mentally active is so important as we age. How do you think it can impact the overall health and wellness of older adults we serve?
Oh, staying engaged is most important. If you have friends around you, engage with them, have dinner, have lunch. Very important to talk about things that you like, and you can talk to others, and they know what you're going through, and if they're your friends, they know you, which is wonderful. And just stay engaged in your community. If you can walk somewhere, walk. You don't have to run, there are many places. It's nice out now. It's springtime. We're going right into summer here. And so, yes, get out a little bit. Sometimes if we just leave the house, we feel so much better. And I always say, just enjoy a meal. Sometimes we rush food. Think about what you want to eat and enjoy that. And that could be just such a wonderful, simple experience. Uh, Read a book if you haven't had time, or you just think, oh, I don't want to. That can, our minds take a little vacation when we read a book. We enter other character lives, and we just there's so much to be gained.
Those are some amazing self-care and engagement tools that people can use. It's so important to kind of come up with ideas, try new things, stay curious. How do you discuss self-care with your clients? What advice do you have for our listeners?
Yeah, well, I talk about it all the time, and that depends on the client and what they're in. If they're already walkers, where do you walk? Okay, what does that look like? Do you look at what's around you? Do you notice the flowers coming up? And then, like the next meeting we'll have, I did stop and look at the flowers, and wow, they're really beautiful. I just always walked past them. And I think that's key. Don't walk past everything. Going to a farmer's market, I know it sounds simple, most areas have them, but just looking at produce, and there's flowers at those markets as well. Just engage, look up who's waiting on you, who's around you. Sometimes we just, look down so often we don't want, but try to look up and engage and smile. That's always key to bringing someone into your life. And you never know who you can meet and what friendships you can develop by doing just that.
Absolutely. I think farmers markets are such a great um, opportunity to just meet several types of people. There's a lot of entrepreneurs there, folks that care about, health and gardening, and there's just so many amazing conversations to be had with people that are experts in their craft and selling their creations, really. And it's a really fantastic place. What are some signals for us to look for in our parents or grandparents, or for the older adults listening, their spouse, that might indicate a conversation around getting support for their mental health might be warranted?
Yeah, I think when you start to see a loved one, again, we know them pretty well, but becoming more agitated, right? Less patient, more kind of and hygiene is a great indicator of, oh, what's happening here? Dad used to always be so clean and care about his appearance. What's happening here? He's wearing the same shirt. Like this is the second day. What's going on? Repetitive conversation, very important too. Oh, you just said that. You said that again. So just something to be mindful of, what's happening there. Uh, and if that's not the case, but you're just starting to see, just I'm not going to go outside. I'm going to stand, I'm going to watch TV, and hours upon hours of television. I think that's a good indicator if someone's isolating.
Absolutely. I saw with my own mom and dad a few key indicators that led to a conversation at home. One of them was, my father kept a very strict routine of getting up at a certain time, meditating, going to work. And as soon as he retired, he kept that routine for a few months. But suddenly he was sleeping in more, and his routine was getting changed. And typically, staying on a routine after retirement is really important because it gives structure to the day and builds purpose. It's so important to kind of build a new routine when you go through those transitions. Another one that I notice with older adults sometimes when I'm speaking to them is if their response is, well, who cares? What does it matter? Those types of comments always alert me that, this person has some potential sadness.
Yes, yes. And I've had a client that said exactly that to me. Who cares if, what does it matter? I said, it matters to you. It matters how you feel. If you like, or you wore jewelry, put a piece of jewelry on. Put, clothes that you love on, it matters to you because you'll feel better. Even a shower, it can be a wonderful experience. You put some eucalyptus, I'm famous for saying this, put a sprig of eucalyptus up, spray some spray. You'd be amazed. You turn your shower into like a mini little spa with such a simple application that it feels good and it refreshes you, and that's how you should feel. And I've had clients tell me, Mom, yes, that worked beautifully. I didn't realize I could do that. So it doesn't just have to be just a shower. We can make it a little more engaging.
Laura, you've been working with Total Life and supporting older adults navigate their care journey. How has this experience shaped your approach to therapy?
Total Life, I have to say, is a wonderful platform. I really, really enjoy it. And I think my enjoying it as much as I do really does translate to the client. Because we're on a platform with Zoom, you really can connect with clients. And I think it's wonderful to have that kind of technology. We could do phone too. And I have done phone and that works well too. I don't want to, say that it doesn't, because it does. Whatever platform is comfortable. But I really feel that you can just connect. And that's the most important thing. We can connect with each other. We see each other, we hear each other, and we connect. And that is absolutely what is needed in the therapeutic process, is the connection.
And for those of our listeners that are listening today and are thinking about whether or not they should try therapy but feel a little bit scared or anxious about the idea of sharing their stories and their fears with a therapist, what are some of the insights you can give them to make them feel more confident?
I have had that where clients feel very anxious. Oh, I don't know. I'm a little scared. And I always say, I think being a client is very brave. I think it's the brave thing to do. You're working on you. And that is so important. And I think a lot of people don't think they can work on themselves, or they don't have the time, or maybe I should be doing something else. No, you first and foremost is most important. And that's what I tell my clients.
Laura, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on this show. Thank you for sharing your invaluable insights and experiences. Do you have any final thoughts for our listeners?
Oh, no, it just that it's been wonderful. I enjoy very much working for Total Life, and it's been a pleasure as well. And thank you so much for having me.
Listeners, if you're inspired by today's conversation, please visit totallife.com to learn more and sign up for therapy sessions. We accept most insurances, including Medicare. Remember, it's never too late to start taking care of your mental health. Stay mindful, stay healthy, and keep thriving. Until next time, this is Neil Embrar signing off.